I was a victim of domestic violence in the 1980s and know exactly how it feels. I was completely demoralised, reinforced by lack of sleep, threats, fear, being told I was mad and imagining things. It can happen to anyone, young or old, rich or poor, male or female. I can recall 2 instances where the response from medical personnel changed how I dealt with things. I went to my GP several days after an attack, after the bruising and swelling had gone down, but there was a small cut on my cheekbone that wasn't healing properly. My GP asked me how it happened. I said, someone hit me. He said, they didn't hit you, they beat you up. He sent me to the hospital for an X-ray, which I thought was a bit over the top. There, another doctor assumed my injuries had been caused by a partner or ex-partner. She was concerned about the severity of the injuries, which included a fractured jawbone, and said, he'll end up killing you. I had thought during the attack that he was going to kill me. These 2 health professionals made me realise what I thought was happening really was, and helped me to get out of my situation. My daughter wasn't so lucky. She met a man in 2000 who was charm personified and fell in love with him. By the November, I'd noticed the bruises starting to appear and her bubbly outgoing nature had diminished. In the following year, I was called upon over 30 times to help her out after she'd been attacked by her partner. I can be this precise because I recorded the instance in my daybooks, which were later used in the police investigation. Between September 2000 and November 2001, to my knowledge, she made 11 trips to hospital, which included a termination, although he said he'd had a vasectomy, an attempted suicide, eye injuries, head injuries, and possibly others I don't know about. On one occasion, she phoned me asking for help. An ambulance was called. When we were in the ambulance, one of the crew said to her, "You didn't fall down the stairs, did you?" And she told him the whole story of what her partner had done. I was so relieved. I thought, at last she's broken her silence to the outside world and we might be able to get somewhere. On another occasion in 2001, she had 8 stitches to her forehead, which even to my untrained eye, I realised had been made by a blade. I asked the staff as they were stitching her up if they didn't take photographs of these sort of injuries. I got no response. After this, I wrote to the police asking for help and advice. My letter was forwarded to the domestic violence unit. The response from them was they offered to put an alarm in my daughter's flat, which she couldn't have done without his knowledge. On October the 13th, she attempted suicide, her only way out. On October the 14th, she was seen by psychiatrists and was going to be sectioned. On the 15th of October, the boyfriend visited the hospital and she walked out with him without being challenged. On the 25th of October, she went to her GP asking him for antidepressants. He called the crisis response team, who collected her and returned her to the hospital, where she saw more psychiatrists who told her she had an alcohol problem, and she went home. On November the 20th, I wrote to the hospital expressing my concerns for her welfare. On the 25th of November, she was murdered by her partner. She had 123 injuries, including 18 broken ribs, which pierced her lungs, her liver and her spleen. I don't know whether my daughter's death could have been avoided. Her partner's control over her by that time was pretty complete. I'd watched the patterns of abuse unfolding. There are now services available for victims of domestic violence. Some A&Es have special workers. Women's Aid, Refuge, Childline, Samaritans all have 24-hour telephone services. Police have domestic violence officers and units and will respond to 999 calls. Refuse to condone or remain silent about domestic violence. Do what you can. If it's happening to you, get out, get help. If you're witnessing it happening to somebody else, please report it. Blow the whistle now.